Yeah, good enough. Sometimes it's just learning to give up. And okay, we can work on this at the end too. There's no reason for us to spend all this time just for the hair. And it's not bad per se. It's just need a little bit more form to get stronger. Something like this should be fine. Okay, no overdoing it. No overdoing it. Like things are getting cleaner, right? See? I told you it's going to be okay. Sometimes all we need is one good sleep, and the next day we can be as productive as we want. Even in art, sometimes it's good to learn where to stop and be like, okay, I can't push this anymore today. All of my creative juice are running out. So might as well just use that day off. And then I was able to look at the illustration and see if there's an issue and see if there's anything I can do about it. Like sometimes try to figure it out on its own, on your own. It's not bad, but you just can't push it. Sometimes nothing comes out. Mm. Actually, sometimes nothing comes out, but I don't feel too bad. There's always bad day and good day. But art, just be patient with yourself. Give yourself time, but also give yourself a time limit. Like, I will not spend more than 3 days on this illustration. Then keep that promise. And whatever happened by the fourth day just kind of ends it. And I know it might be a little bit bittersweet, but I can always look back at it and work more on it later. And you can even redo your artwork, even though it's been a few years. You can look back at your work and be like, okay, I can improve on this a little bit more. And you do it. And you learn by fixing your own art. And that's a good sign. Why? Because you see there's things to fix. By the time that at the time that you're working on the art, you might not be able to see it and you might think the art is good. But give it like a year or even half a year, go back to it and see if there's anything you can fix on it. And if there is something you can fix on it, then it proves that you are improving. Your eyes are getting used to new techniques. Your eyes are able to spot out trouble area. I mean, some folks are born with that. Some folks are born with the ability to see those type of errors like really, really fast. But everybody has to practice, even if Doesn't matter if they're super good or they're super talented from youth. Everybody has to hone their skill, or else it wouldn't matter. So just be patient with yourself. Everybody is learning on their own, has their own speed. Everybody has their own speed, they have their own pace. Some folks are really slow, but you might be able to make up in other area. Some folk might be slow with artwork, but they're really good with marketing. Some folks might be really slow with line art, and that's why I don't recommend line art. Some folks might be really slow with sketches, like me. Well, I don't really spend that much time on sketches, but I do spend a little bit too much time on over fixating certain parts of the illustration. But it is even till now that I'm training myself to not over fixate, to accept what it is. This is the best I can offer right now, but it is time to move on. It is time to embrace new illustration, and it 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 could be very annoying, especially if you're doing it with like commission works and stuff. Like sometime there's good and there's bad. It's hard to maintain 100%, but what you want to train yourself is to get the highest quality, and then sometimes there is that little luck aspect of you just, I don't know, that day maybe the color was right, the composition was right, and it came out a lot better. But then after that, you can't really but then after that, you can't really replicate it. Like it's okay. Even the old master takes years to master their work, and some of us we have other things other than art, you know? We have school, we could have another job, you know? Sometimes art is not even our main career. So, it's okay. Like the old master, they take years to finish one drawing. They have plenty of time. They don't got that much distraction. And they're trained, they're all trained from such a young age. So don't compare yourself. Just compare yourself with yourself from yesterday. That's the only thing you should be compare yourself to. Is, am I better than my yesterday? My art better than my past self? And if it is, then it's good. Don't compare yourself to other people. Everybody have their own circumstances. You can use other people's work as motivation, but don't push yourself into, why can they do that? Why can I not do this? Everybody have their own space. It will come to you eventually. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on, I guess, keeping your mentality and not to be frustrated. It's just sometimes to accept. It took years for me to get into this point, and I was lucky enough to be able to attend school. So, and not a lot of you had even had like any proper education on art. So, it is quite unfair to yourself if you compare with someone who has that opportunity of learning from a professional, learning for years. Actually, mine just take like 4 years, but still, that 4 year was with someone who is trained to teach, or someone professional, or someone who's know the field. It's so much better than self-taught. I'm not saying self-taught is bad, it's just a little bit slower. Like your your order of learning, it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit too chaotic. But the people who teach us this stuff in school, they are basically trained. They know what to teach. You know what order you need to learn. You know what assignment. Even if the assignment is something you hate with all of your fiber, it turns out to be good. Like nothing in art is useless per se. It's just time consuming, and it might be very annoying at the time, but now looking back at it, I really do believe that it plays all of the class that I hate, all plays a very crucial part in my art journey. The reason why I do this type of just straight on painting is because I have taken like at least 4 oil painting class. And sometimes I ask myself like why is this needed? I'm just gonna do this digitally. Like it's very expensive first of all to do oil painting. It's quite expensive, but at least in America. I don't know about other country and how you get the material, but in America it's pretty expensive. Buy canvas to buy colors, brushes, and then varnish and all of the other stuff. And then you have to have an easel, like where you're gonna paint, where you're gonna put your canvas. You have to have a studio space, or else paint will get on everything. And I mean everything. And it wouldn't wash out. So it was quite a turbulent time for me. Like I would love to hear you guys' stories on how you start your journey. Like I used to be self-taught and I was able to attend it in school. And then took those art class, which I hate so much at that time, but now I'm like I can just rock this type of painting without any fears because back then you only have one canvas to work with. So if you goofed it up, you fix it. Because buying a new canvas is expensive. And it's just a lot liberating this way, right? There's so far I have like 1 and 2 layers on hair. And I basically create this from like scratch. Like by the time I start this recording, like I have nothing. I only have an idea. So I think it's good to keep things raw and keep things true and show you guys like even for me, there's always a little struggle at the beginning. But the more you do it, the more you see the the picture, like you can visualize a final ending. I think something I really like with just something I really like with straight on sketch, like color rendered like this is you can somewhat see the final rendered. It's just very messy. So for someone who hyperfixate on getting things as clean as possible, it's kind of just pushed me in a quite positive way to just clean it up and see if it actually look like that. And just look at this. This is pretty good. This is pretty good already. And this is all straight paint on without any like layer separation. This is without any line art, any indication. I was also trained myself to see the form before I laid it down on the canvas. Like I was able to envision what the drawing looks like, and that is something that's a skill that I think can only acquire by years of practice to be able to envision the final illustration, or at least what you want the the part you're drawing to be before finishing it. Also, I do apologize if I like was too quiet at the beginning. This is next day's work. So I did have of the hair the night before, and this is the next day. So things are going to be quite incoherent for this class, but this is how I draw on a daily basis. Like sometime I just leave it for the next day. Sometimes it's not enough. Like it's pretty fast if I can listen to music or have something on, but because I'm recording this for the class, I can't really do that. Like there's a matter of copyright, but there's also like it's also quite distracting and you guys can't really focus. A lot of people can't focus if it's like not 100% quiet. I don't know, everybody has their own thing. If like even for me and when I'm learning in class, I prefer having like a little background music on. So if you guys are watching this and if you guys need a little bit more stimulation, please feel free to have some kind of soft background music on. And if you're someone who can just, learn by observing without listening to my voice, you can really have the music on. Look at it. But you see, this is all of this is without line art. You might think it's impossible. It's gonna be, it's going to be, and you can see that. You can see the fact that I'm struggling at the beginning. Like, I was choking. I was like, okay, I can't be doing this. I can't, like, it doesn't look right. And sometimes, like, an illustration for me, like, takes, like, it's a lot faster too for me to, if I were to do this by myself and I can have my reference on the side, but I don't really have that. It's going to be, you know, another copyright issue if I look at other people's art. Like, I usually have, like, a whole mood board next to me and I look at it and I don't know. It's not like I'm copying anything. I just look at the art and my body just automatically figure out what to do myself. For some reason, I could just be looking at a rendered of the hair and I would know how to do it. But I also like this because this really challenged myself on try to get this all of this without any reference at all. So that's why I got a little bit of an issue in the beginning. I'm like, I know how to do this on my own. It's going to take more time. That's it. Everybody has their own strength. Again, I think mine lies at rendering. I really enjoy rendering, as you can see right now, as we spend a little bit too much time on this hair. I feel like the head section is going to be so long. But I have to record everything. And if you guys want to zoom and skip it, I totally understand. But if you zoom and skip it and you like, wait, something changed. Yeah, because my I changed my mind like so many times during this illustration, as you can see. Actually, like this is my second time re-recording this because I started out with a completely different pose for in-class illustration, but I didn't like it, and I was at like hair rendering already. It was like, okay, I have to do everything again. Like, I know I'm doing this to myself, but I really want to offer the best. Also the reason why you're purchasing this class and it's cost a lot. I just want to show you guys like all of my process. But yeah, this illustration in the beginning was totally different. It was also a sitting pose, but she's more like kneeling, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do kneeling. Could be quite uncomfortable for the characters for some reason. Like whenever I put my character in in a difficult pose to do IRL, because all of these poses actually it's me. It's all me in the beginning, just posing in front of the mirrors, and then after getting into a really good and comfortable pose, I'll like take a picture of myself, and then I'll like either use that as a reference, but it's easier to use a 3D model to replicate my pose. And I also wanted to show you guys on how I use this. But then again, it is something to help you with building up your base. So don't ever think of it as cheating. There's nothing is cheating. Cheating is if only you copy from other people's work. This tool is made for you. So use it with confidence. And if you don't like using it, it's okay, but don't tell other people not to do it. You know? Unless your clients are like, okay, I want this project like completely from your brain. I don't want you using any reference at all, and that client might have an issue. Because in art we use reference all the time. It's not a big deal. It's only a big deal when you just copy someone else's idea and be like, okay, hippity hoppity, this idea is my property. Also, it's currently like really early in the morning, so my voice is kind of raspy. I don't know if I should be oversharing in this class, but I guess for me, learning is really, drawing this together can be learning. I don't want, like, I was in school for quite a long time, and not because, I flunked or anything. Despise how not wise I am. I changed my major quite a lot of time because of uh, other circumstances, like family doesn't support what you do and all that. But no, it's all in the past. Everybody has their own journey, everybody has their own story. I actually started all of this in 2017. That's when I officially started doing traditional, not like digital art. And that is when I start what? Oh, I start with digital, like self-taught, self-learning. And then I took my first art class in 2015. No, 2019. And then it just from there to here. So I was able to learn a lot and catch up because I know a lot of people in this industry, they started out years before me, right? Like everybody has their own time. Back then when I wasn't able to study the major I like I used to be so jealous of all the other artists. Like I used to hate going on social media because whenever I go on, I see people's art and I'm just like, and I wish this was me. No, but then one day I just stopped wishing and I was like, okay, I don't care if I'm gonna go broke. I don't care if I'm going to be drawing portrait for people in the park for money, but I'm going to do this. Doesn't matter. Like I was like anything as long as it's art in the beginning. Also, sorry, I was telling too much story without explaining what I'm doing. So for the hair for the area around the face, I like I give it like a lighter sheen of like flesh color as you can see over here. Like just a light sheen of it. Not not a whole thing. It's just I want the area around the face to be really bright. And so just that's it. Like the reason why I make the eye like the right here, like the side of the eye is just lighter color is because I want it to be coherent with the face. I don't want things to be so stark of a different. I like to ease people in into other part, like a transition. You see how clean it is? Since it is, it's pretty long. It takes quite a long time. Usually it doesn't take this long. I promise you. And like normally something like this, like hair, I would do it in like 45 minutes top. But with this, get a little bit nervous when you record, get a little bit nervous when you're doing it for a class. If I were to be like streaming, actually streaming, it's not that good either. Because I think it's just me, but I have like I don't know if other have the same problem, but I don't like people looking at me when I draw. I always feel like a sense of pressure, even though it's only me and like my computer right now. But the fact that is I'm still recording this for a class and someone else is going to look at it and be, oh my gosh, this is how Alice do her stuff. Oh my goodness. He's so messy. Like just that thought, it's kinda making me like a tiny bit uncomfortable, but I really like sharing my wisdom and so many of you has been asking of like some kind of videos, tutorials and some kind of video lesson and I'm like, okay. And Colosso reached out to me right at the exact time because I started doing tutorial actually this year. And funny enough, like all the tutorial was only because I overshade and as you can see right now, I overshade and I detail like I do really heavy details on especially texture. And usually in like a big illustration, nobody sees it. Like some people sees it, but not a lot of people sees it. So by doing like the tutorial, people can see the different between different stages compared to if I were to just post the final pic and like, okay, it's not that significant, but if you compare this to my first sketch, you can see there's a clear difference with rendering. So it was just that idea of me wanting